This illustration deals with strictly identification in accordance with 690.31B1. B as in boy. And the purpose of change was to accept and provide a new sentence that has been added to clarify the marking requirements for DC conductors' polarity. The language from 210 for branch circuits and 215 for feeders on polarity markings is summarized in this section. Some positive and negative conductors can both be black due to sunlight resistance of cables. Conductors are not prohibited from being black. Also, no size break at number 6 AWG is provided in Article 210 and 215. Since positive conductors can be black and should be permitted to be marked with methods other than continuous color coding. So read and review this new section very carefully, and we're going to highlight some of these new requirements in our illustration. And first of all, let's look at the boxed in dot and dash enclosing the sleeve or shrink tubing 210.5 C as in car 1 and C2A4. And notice it could be a sleeve or shrink tubing. That was added in the 2017 NEC. Then notice you have your PV array with an arrow drawn to it. It's mounted on a roof or ground. The common combiner box and splice points is right in the box next to the arrays. And again, we can identify by sleeve or shrink tubing, marking cable or conductors inside enclosure and raceway. And we can use 210.15 C1 is in car and C2A4 for branch circuits. It would be legal. And then notice the last call out is right below the equipment that you see in the illustration. And it says a sleeve or shrink tubing marking where the terminations connect or splice in accordance with 210.5C1 and C2A4. Now, we kind of have a couple sets of notes I'd like to review with you. The first set's right to the left here, and it talks about positive ungrounded phase conductors shall be identified as follows: continuous red tape, outer finish, durable, marked by any color except green, white, gray, or black. The second bullet states imprinted plus signs, plus, or the word positive, or positive, or say POS, durably marked with a color other than green, white, gray, or black at intervals not exceeding 24 inches as outlined in 210.5 C2A1 through A3. Now let's look at the second set of requirements that I call it. Note 2, a negative ungrounded phase conductor shall be identified as follows: continuous black stripe, outer finish, durable, marked by color except green, white, gray, or red. Imprinted minus signs, just a minus, or the word negative, or the abbreviation NEG, durably marked with a color other than green, white, gray, or red at intervals not exceeding 24 inches, again as outlined in 210.5 C2B1 and B4. Now, this is identification and what can be used and what is required in accordance with 690.31B as in boy 1. And then as a final reminder, if you're dealing with fire pumps, then we are referenced to 695.3C3 and 695.6J. So remember, if you're dealing with fire pumps, you would need to review those two sections to understand what has taken place there in relationship to fire pumps.